Dun, dun.
Hello, I'm Ghezal Omar, the writer and creator of 357 Magnum Opus, Pagan Valley, and Pimp Killer, and you are watching Splash Pages.
Rise and shine, my sinners. When Father Evil starts his day, he gets a little deadly. Deadly Grounds coffee has the richest, smoothest flavor you'll find anywhere. It's sinfully delicious. Once you go deadly, you never go back. Order yours at getdeadly.com. Coffee's so good, it's scary.
The Dorkening and all affiliated shows are not intended for anyone under the age of 18. The following may contain discussions or scenes that have adult situations, graphic violence, nudity, strong sexual content, and graphic language. This show is intended for mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Is the one obvious thing.
Meow, meow, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Splash Pages. This is Leo. I'm your monkey behind the... Oh, wait. I'm not a monkey. I turned into a cat. I don't have fingers. My toes are beans. I can't.
What
Carrie,
is going on?
Hey,
Carrie.
everybody. I don't know what's going on over there, but Leo's having some technical difficulties tonight, so I will be your Cthulhu behind the keyboard. Welcome to Splash Pages. We are always happy to see you. We've got a great show set up tonight. We have an amazing guest. We have some great comics to go over. And I'm going to send it on over to Jeremy. How we doing? Oh, if I can.
Where am I? There I am.
There you are.
There I am. Oh man, I wasn't even in scene. I'm doing fantastic. Carrie, great job. Do not sweat it. Breathe. Splash Pages. We never do it right. Over to Drew.
All right.
Oh, we're on? Okay. Hi, everybody. That was not a real cigarette. That was just me mocking Carrie because she does that before every show. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us again Tuesday. Our great Leo Pond could not be here, but Cleo Pond, the cat Leo, was there and will be our Leo in spirit. But we got Carrie as the Fleo. And we have, like Carrie said, we have a great guest here. We have a lot of great content. There's definitely even some talk of C2E2 was last weekend. Great news, everything. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm not even going to say anything more. Just we have a fantastic guest and the one, the only, the badass, Ghezal Omar, everybody.
Yeah.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Wow, we got quite the crowd.
You know,
All right. So yeah,
So
Ghezal,
go right ahead,
wait,
Carrie.
I need to switch. What? Everybody's in the wrong places.
Well,
like the Brady Bunch, but nerdy.
Now we're
The nerdy bunch.
in the right places because I'm kind of OCD about this stuff.
It's fine. So
I'm on top of the world.
So, welcome to Splash Pages, Ghezal. We had so much fun reading your comics. And would you like to go ahead and just give us a brief overview of what you've been doing and like the amazing stuff that you've been doing behind the scenes to help promote women in comics?
Yeah, thank you for having me on the podcast. Really great to be here. And it's been about 3 years since, 3-4 years since I published my first graphic novel, which was 357 Magnum Opus. And since then, Pimp Killer got released last year, and this year co-wrote Pagan Valley. So just cranking it out, writing content, attending events. Did 8 shows my first year. Laid a little low 2022, but 2023 and 2024 were quite busy going to events and such, and visiting different comic book shops, and just really being part of a community. So if I'm not writing, I'm marketing. If I'm not marketing, I'm writing. So working with different artists and just growing the universe.
So you look tired. You're off from your weekend from C2E2. How was it? Was it?
Well,
Would you say a successful weekend?
Everyone loves to hear they look tired, so thank you for that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
God damn it, Jar.
I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you about that. I am tired, actually. I had the red eye, so a bit exhausted. Got a little cold, so I apologize if I do sneeze and such. It was a great show. I always liked Chicago. It's my 3rd time there, and it's always fun. I love the community there. They're always, I always have repeat folks who I'll email, let them know, hey, I'm back. And they'll come over to the table like, yeah, I have Magnum, I have Pimp Killer. This year it was Pagan Valley. So it's one of my favorite cities to visit. And again, one of my favorite shows. And I've done so many at this point. So I feel like it's fair to say that.
Do you have any cosplayers yet of your work?
I don't have cosplayers. However, at
Damn that.
my cousin was dressed up as Pimp Killer for Halloween.
Oh wow!
So she bought the hat that says Pimp Killer. She has the black whip. She was dressed in all black, and she looked really cool. So hopefully in the future.
That's close to a cosplayer. They're still wearing the costume, so
yeah. Listen, that counts. Family cosplay counts. So
you got to start somewhere, right?
Right, absolutely. So I have to ask, because I was at C2E2. It was my first time. It was 2020 before the plague. And I absolutely loved it. It was fantastic, among other things. And I was really impressed at some of the cosplay there, which, I've been to New York. I've been to a lot of cons on the East Coast. I've never been to. So I was blown away at some of the detail, the attention and whatnot. I think my favorite was I took a photo with 3 men from the Blue Men group, and I'm still not sure if it might have actually been them. So it was like I showed my friend. He was like, "Are you sure it wasn't them?" And I'm like, you never can tell. They don't say much, but they're very big. So did you see anything this year cosplay wise that was like click, or just?
You know what? There was a lot of cosplay. It was pretty intense. You definitely appreciate the work that goes into all that. Of most of the shows, I would say probably LA Comic-Con, WonderCon, and Chicago are the heaviest in cosplay that I've experienced. So it was just a wide gamut. I didn't see as many Spider-Mans as I usually see. So. But it's great to see all ages. All ages is fun, and people getting creative. There wasn't anything specific that I could call out that I was like, "Oh my god, who is that?"
Right.
But it was, again, it's just fun to see all ages get involved and getting creative with it, and thinking outside the box. So
Totally. Okay. Cool.
When did you start actually writing for comics? And was it always the dream to get into comics, or was that just like you happened to fall into it?
yeah, so I wrote my screenplay, and I started reading comics back around 2013. The first comic I read, sorry, was called Scarlet. And I was like, okay, this is interesting, kind of reminds me of my script. And I wanted
Mhm.
to write a story where it's accessible, right? I wrote for the screen, but I wanted something where everybody could like read it. And I thought the medium was perfect with the visuals and the dialogue, and I thought it would match up perfectly. So 2013 is when I started. I went through the cycle of trying to find the right artist,
Right.
and took me some time. By the time it was finally done, it was around 2020.
Mhm.
I worked with Ming Chen Shin. I was introduced to him in 2018, and he actually draws for video games. So he was great to work with, very fast. And that was the first edition of Magnum Opus. Was actually a hardcover, all black and white. And
Mhm.
then this
Oh,
past
nice.
year in 2023, we went ahead and made it color. So I worked with
Wow.
colorists and updated it. So it was a fun experience, and based off that experience, you learn, where, what mistakes not to make, or
Mhm.
mistakes to continually make, and that's why I want to continue writing. So Pimp Killer, which I wrote in 2022, I believe, that one was the first one that was just established straight for comics. I was in Vegas for a show, and I was in the car with an Uber driver, and asked her, I'm like, any crazy stories you could share with me? And she started telling me all these interesting stories. I'm like, wait a minute, I have this vision for this character. And for like weeks, I just couldn't get this character out of my head. And I was like, I want a strong woman who takes care of business. The cops aren't doing anything about it. So she becomes a pimp killer. So that was my first official comic, whereas
Mhm.
Magnum Opus was officially actually written as a screenplay. So
Yeah, it's funny to say, because as I was reading, we were able to see from 357 Magnum Opus, I was like, wow, this really, like, it had that feel. Like, I was like, wow, this, I could see this, like, especially as it was paced and everything. I was like, this has a cinematic like feel to it. Like, I was just like, the humor, the way it moved, the flashbacks, because sometimes with comics, and me and Carrie have talked about this. Sometimes comics overuse flashbacks, I think, to kind of cover, like, it's like, oh, we have no idea, we're gonna flashback. But yours, like, that had that nice sharp like feel to it, where it's okay, this is exactly what you need to know. There might be another one, but you need to know this, and this is important. So please, for the love of God, be paying attention. So it definitely had that nice feel to it. Kudos to you.
thank you.
But like, I'm trying. I was like, there's a question, right? I was like, my brain's like, nope, no question, just giving props. I'm like, well, that's anticlimactic. Carrie, give me a flashback. I'm back.
Flashback.
But actually, one question I did have is that I did read more that you grew up being a big fan of some of the great female cinema heroes. Sigourney Weaver, Angelina Jolie, among some. Like, I have to ask, in terms of, because I'm a big Sigourney Weaver fan. I'm a big Ghostbusters fan, so naturally, Sigourney is high up there. If you had to say, in terms of your inspirations for like the cinema, in terms of female heroes, do you have a favorite, or is it you can't choose?
I can't choose a favorite. That's like asking someone, pick their favorite kid. I don't know. They're all really great. They all have wonderful
Oh, it's
qualities,
easy to pick
and they
your
all bring
favorite
something
kid.
special. You had Angelina. You even have Uma Thurman. She did great with Tarantino's work. So everyone
Mhm.
brings a special quality to whatever character they're playing.
Mhm.
So I can't pick one more than the other. I was a big fan of, Linda Hamilton and Terminator as well. So what
Mhm.
I saw growing up, I was like, I want to create, a story like that with strong women doing some cool things, fighting and, kicking ass and being able to adapted to a comic book was awesome. So that's why I continued, and I want to even experiment with Pagan Valley. It wasn't necessarily her getting to physical fights where she's necessarily very strong, but she's also, trying to outsmart, gangsters and, doing things she shouldn't be doing. So a little bit of that.
Totally.
The preview of this was, God damn it, it ends right where you want, where like, God, I wish it started now. Now I need 9 more pages. It was fantastic. I enjoyed this. I actually think I will be investing into the rest of the book. It reads well. I like the art, and I think it's kind of falling into my fantasy kind of series realms stuff. What's the actual cost like to initially get stuff like this started?
Wow. So it really depends. So Magnum Opus, I won't lie, was crazy pricey.
Yeah.
But you're also paying for, you got to take into consideration your artists, right? And you also got to take into consideration, like, if you're going to have different types, right? If you're going to have the letterist, the colorist, artist from America versus international, there is a cost involved in that. So when you think about the print costs, I went hardcover with Magnum Opus, the first edition, whereas these other ones I've gone straight paperback. It's less expensive, it does a job, and it's also not as heavy when you're going to shows, right? Putting in your bag, and you can bring more books with you. So all those things, go into consideration for your costs. It can go anywhere from, I don't know, $7,000 to and up. And again, I always tell people, I always encourage everyone to try writing for comics and getting a book done, but I always encourage everyone starting small. Whereas Magnum Opus was 160 pages to begin with, and Pimp Killer was, I think, 40. So I go, start small. You don't have to have like this big, production. You can do, one by one, and it'll be less expensive, and you'll get your work done. And then you can go from there and experiment to see, okay, what worked, what didn't work. So, and then after that is obviously the marketing costs. You have the content, you have to market it. So there's those additional costs you have to take into consideration, whether you're, going to shows, you're giving freebies, you're running ads, but whatever you can do, having your website up, all those costs, taken into consideration. So it's not cheap, but like for my third book, I did a Kickstarter, and that was the first time. Whereas I needed,
is that your first
for the
crowdfunding?
print. It is my first crowdfunding. I worked with Kaden Phoenix on that, so she's done many, and it was my first one. So it was for the print costs for the book. So typically, I've always incurred the costs from beginning to end. So it was an interesting experience, and you're also competing with a lot of other comics that are coming out, and people only have so much money and time, and you have to promote that. So it could be a crowded field, asking folks to kickstart. So, but I encourage trying different things all the time.
What kind of giveaways did you do for your Kickstarter? That's also got to incur costs as well, like giving out all the different.
We do fun things. We do more like some that are more on the charity side. If you get this, then you donate it to this charity as well. We have it also where you can get drawn into the book. So some of the future
always
books,
a good one.
So those are fun. And then sometimes there'll be just little things like stickers and such.
So something else that I wanted to ask you is that we've talked about this with some of our other guests, and I'd love to get your input in it, is that we've seen kind of an interesting period in comics now where a lot of big names from, the big two, Marvel and DC, and they're kind of pulling away from working with those companies and really getting more into the independents, things like Image and whatnot, Boom Studios, but even kind of starting their own. Like recently, you have a lot of the big names created their own imprint, Ghost Machine, and then and even other people starting their own companies. You yourself being someone who, your work started off as a screenplay, and then suddenly you have your own books, you're going to cons, you're doing it, you're living that dream. like what's your thoughts on that in terms of, kind of like this shift? Do you feel it was kind of inevitable? Like, what are your thoughts on it?
In terms of the industry and the way they're going?
Yeah, well, yeah, in general.
I think in general, just I think folks are getting smart and things are being able to self-publish, right? Something that may have been challenging many years ago is a lot easier now. And even art, right? The AI piece, people are able to now use AI to do some things where hiring an artist may have been more expensive. I can't necessarily say it's going to be better quality, but
Right.
it gives them the opportunity to get something done. So I don't know where the industry is going to go, but I do see more folks being where they're going to want to own their own IP and have more control over the creative process from beginning to end. And I want to have control of my own IP. I wanted to be the decision maker and make it on my own terms and not have to worry about deadlines. If I want to take a year to finish my book, I'll take a year. And being able to select the artists I want to work with. And I think, I don't know. I mean, it really just comes down to individual choices. I mean, I run into people who want to create and they don't know where to start. So I think having those resources available to them, I've tuned into several of those Twitter chats, and I told people like they didn't know like, oh, should I copyright it? Maybe I'll skip it. I'm like, no, you always copyright your work. So I think there's a lot of education still that needs to be done, and given how hard it is sometimes to even get a job in the industry. So I think again, the opportunity just to be your own creator from beginning to end. That's where I see a lot of folks do.
Okay.
Did you always know you wanted to write screenplays and to get into the movies and such?
I did. So when I was younger, I would write stories and I watched a lot of movies and TV shows, and I wanted to be a writer, and I would write little stories with my classmates as the different characters, and it was always
Oh,
boys
that's
against
kind of cool.
girls, and it was always like fun things where everyone was up to no good. And so being able to do that as an adult has been great, but with, imaginary characters. Hopefully none of my friends are up to some of these shenanigans. So I've always wanted to be a writer, and being creative has always been my goal. So being able to do that has been fortunate.
Awesome.
How many cons do you have to do a year?
Well, it depends how much you can afford. They're not cheap.
Oh, you have to
So
pay for them all? Oh no.
yeah, you have to pay for them. So you have to pay for your table usually.
Yeah.
And those tables can run anywhere from $300 to $700. And then you have to take in consideration your hotel, your flights, food, all those expenses. So it doesn't make sense for someone who's based in California to go all the way to New York. Not necessarily. I did New York Comic Con last year, and it doesn't make sense for someone from the East Coast to come all the way there.
Right.
So it's probably more conducive for the folks that are more local to the region to stick with their local cons. But yeah, it just depends how much money you want to budget for marketing. Normally in marketing, you budget anywhere from 3 to 10% of your gross revenue. So if you're an individual creator, when you're creating, also taking consideration the marketing costs of going to cons. I'll say my first few cons I sold it. Like my first con was the Big Apple Con in New York. And I was just Googling, I found it. I was like, okay, it was like a $600 table with flight and everything. I probably sold like 20, 30 books, probably more like 20 books. Of course, didn't make any money, but it was an experience.
Right.
So my recommendation is if you are going to be going to a con, see if you can also, meet with some of the local comic book shops out there and see if you can get your books into those shops. So make the most of your visit, because you are paying a lot of money to fly out there if you are going to fly out there. Cons are interesting. Some folks I meet, sometimes, again, for me, Chicago has always been a great show. And sometimes you try out a different city and you go, oh, let me see it. I might have a market here, and you find out you do or you don't. So, and then if you do, great, you'll do it again next year with a different book. And if you don't, then you know not to go to it. It's not necessarily a bad con. It might just not be the right fit for the audience and your content.
Okay.
Are you writing another book now for next year? It seems you're doing a book a year.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
are?
I am writing. I'll just stay more towards California.
Mhm.
I always do LA Comic Con or WinterCon. I did Fan Expo SF a couple years ago, but I didn't do it again just because I think the Bay Area has to catch up with the comic book industry. I think the other places are the community is really ingrained into the comics, into movies and such. I'll do San Diego Comic Con coming up in
Mm.
July. So there's ones that you'll always do, and then it's an option if you want to do other ones. And then there's the
Mhm.
smaller ones. Again, it just comes down to budget and timing. Sometimes you're just too busy. It can be very physically exhausting. We're flying in and coming back, and then getting back into the thick of things. So
Of course.
So, are there any specific comic book creators out there that you really look up to that were inspirations for you?
So this book, I worked really closely with Pagan Valley with Kate and Phoenix. I learned a lot about the marketing piece of how to actually set up your table to look nice, to have a better banner. So it was nice working with her to help promote the books and the content, and what to create to support it. I used to give out a lot of free prints. So having a bit more business sense of, hey, no, you need to actually make some money on this stuff too. You can't just always be
Yeah.
giving things away. So she's been awesome. And then there's a local in the Bay Area. We have like a local community on Instagram of different creators like Dave Law, Philip Jen, and we'll always connect with each other and let, hey, was this a good show, or make any recommendations. Henry Brawhouse has been really cool to chat with. He's also a writer. Fabrice Sapolsky is awesome as well. So
Nice.
I've met him at my second show, and he's always gives me great tips. And I just saw him at Chicago. So you meet a lot of great people, and that's what I can say about the community of both the creators and the fans. They've all always been very welcoming and encouraging. So it encourages you to want to continue writing. And I love it when I do go to a show and someone's like, I bought this and I bought this, I'm ready for this one. And we'll also ask, hey, are you making a prequel or a sequel? And I always answer is yes, just wait. It takes time to write. And, you want it to be just as good as what you created. So yeah, there's a lot of great creators out there. And I've just noticed everyone is very open to giving advice and such. And there's ones that do a lot of great marketing. He's going to kill me because I forgot his name because I'm on camera, but I'll remember right after, I'm pretty sure, but
Oh
always
yeah.
markets us at the events. And some creators don't have to do that. They don't have to talk about you and being at an event, and some of them do that, and it's always nice.
Do you have friends in the industry now that you go to the different cons and you're just like, hey, what's going on, Mark? Blah blah blah. I haven't seen you since last year at the same time. Like that happens to us at a lot of cons where we're like, that's where we get to see a lot of these people that we only see through the computer screen. So we go to our local one is terrific. Well, local for me at least. The rest of you guys have to drive like hours to get here. But
Yeah.
terrific con at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut. It's we now we'll bump into like Mark Waid or something now and be like, hey, remember us? And it's kind of like a family reunion.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be where you run into someone you haven't seen in a year, and then after the show, everyone goes out for dinner or for lunch. During the show, you'll just go grab some snacks, walk around, and typically Chicago, New York, even California, right? Sometimes you just don't see people because we all have busy schedules, but you will be able to connect at the con and do things together. And it's always interesting going to different cities, and a creator you meet in Miami, you'll never see them in New York. They're strictly Miami, but now you have a friend in Miami. So,
Yep.
It just depends, and then it's up to you if you want to stay in touch. Everyone again is so busy, and then of course everyone connects on social media, so we're always supporting each other on that. And it's always great to see when someone else has someone going on, and then you're like, okay, great, so they're working on this. And I actually created like this database a while ago of like thousands of creators, and I had it on Twitter before Twitter went a little crazy, but it was writers, artists, letterists, colorists, you name it. So and it
Nice.
was a way for people to actually interact with one another and get to know each
Wow.
other. So it's been a great community, and everyone is, again, very open to meeting and getting to know each other. That's what I've noticed from my experience, at least.
So
Oh, go
So I
ahead.
have to ask, you were in Chicago, so I feel like I have to ask, as a pizza fan, what is your opinion on deep dish pizza? And if it's not for you, what is your favorite kind? And please don't say pineapple.
Okay. I won't
Does
say pineapple.
pineapple belong on pizza?
Please don't. No, no, no,
Uh,
no, 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 no. Hold on. No, Jar. We're not opening this. Okay. I embarrassed myself in front of Michael Walsh. We're not doing that with our guest here. She has been lovely. Okay. The hair flip has been very nice there.
You're not going to
Okay.
tell her you're
So
going to punch her in the face or
no.
anything
I
like
asked the
that?
question. You wait your turn, sir. Continue, please.
So regarding pizza, I'm not a big fan of deep dish pizza. I do like
Okay.
Detroit
Fine.
style pizza. I do like the California pizza as well. And by
Mhm.
California, I mean pizza just that's made in California, not necessarily from California. But like you go to San
See, I was
Francisco, there's
thinking
a lot
there's
of
going to
great
be like
places.
avocado on it. It's like, oh, California
Avocado should
pizza.
not go on pizza, but pineapple is okay on pizza. So
Okay.
Oh.
sorry. But pineapple and jalapeno are just a perfect combination of heats and sweets.
Pineapple
And
and jalapeno.
it's yeah. So at the end of the day, it's all about the
Interesting.
quality of ingredients. And I
Okay.
always, I have my go-to spots in California. So if you come to California, there's Square Pie Guys is great, El
Okay.
Pasaro, and Tony's in San Francisco, and there's just a lot of great pizza in California. And
Okay.
I used to live near North Beach, so I've had
Okay.
my share of good pizza. So Chicago, I did have pizza. I did not have deep dish this time. So just because
I'm not a
it's a
fan
little
of
too
it.
much bread, right?
Yeah.
I you know what it was? It's I when I first went, it was with me and my partner, and we went with a friend, or we met up with a friend there, and he had this place that he recommended. It was actually really close to our hotel, and I'm a big pizza fan, and I was like, oh my god, deep dish, this is and I had it, and I'm grateful because fine, but I was like, so it's a bread bowl with sauce and
Bread
cheese.
bowl and sauce. Yeah.
Like, I was like, this is tomato soup. Like, do you have grilled cheese? Can I dip? Like, it was great, but I was just like,
Way too much sauce.
yeah, I was like, there's a lot of sauce. And don't get me wrong, being part Italian, I'm like, this is great. Sauce and cheese. Hey. But I was like, it's like when I was like, you build it up in your head and then you have it, you're like, oh, okay. This is fine. I'm not going to say no, but it's not like, no, I'm good. I don't need to bring anything back. I'm fine. I'm just going to have my slice and go. So
Right.
It's
I
not
kind of
plant-based.
agree with you there.
Where do you go to get inspiration for your stories?
It could be really random. It could be the Uber driver who has cool stories, or it could be,
I have to say is really cool because like I was once an Uber driver myself, and I did have some cool stories, but nothing that I thought would be a comic book worthy. I was just really random stuff would happen in the car, and just like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
I had.
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'd like to hear.
I was just gonna say I've had like people do random drugs in the car and like not even know that it was going on until after you drop them off and you find like a syringe left in the car and you're just like, what the hell is this all about?
Well,
Just
that's
some
a great
crazy
start
stuff.
for a story, right? That's a great
Oh, a
story
great
starter,
start,
right?
but like, where does it end?
Well,
In an alley.
You
In an
can work
alley,
with
right?
anything out that, right? You can start with anything, right? You change it into, maybe they left something very important and you open it up and it's something else, and now they're after you and you're just an Uber driver trying to make a living, but now look, they're trying to chase you and corporate's calling you, and you can have fun with the idea. So, just start with something, and just sometimes, while you're driving, just daydream. When I would drive on the 5 freeway, I'm always thinking of story ideas, and like a song comes on. I love listening to music, and it'll be a certain song, and it'll just trigger some, thoughts. I'm like, okay. And again, I like having characters that are very strong women doing cool things. So think about what you like and what you want to see out there, right? What do you want to see in a comic book? And from that, your imagination can take you a million places. I read a lot of screenplays as well, and I'm trying to read more comics this year. My favorite graphic memoir is The Best We Could Do, and it's inspiring me to write my memoir when I moved to Afghanistan for a few years. So I'm like, do I make it like a novel, or do I actually make it a graphic memoir? Do I work with an artist to capture my time there? So again, there's a lot of things for inspiration, but you just don't limit yourself to what you see in front of you.
So I had two questions. So one, because I'm a huge music person myself, and I feel like you have to, in my mind, you have to be plugged into music while you're creating, because it just, like, you don't realize you're creating a movie soundtrack on your own to your characters while you're doing it. So I have to ask, are there any favorites that you hear something and you're just like, okay, now we're rolling. And I just forgot my second question, so let's just go with that. So, yeah.
So I wouldn't say there's a necessarily a favorite. However, I am really into like Euro music from like the 90s and 20 years ago, music I've never listened to, like those French disco songs from like the 2000s, and I don't know what they're saying, but I like the beat, and those really always get me going. And just because it's different music, right? So it's the whole thing with music opens those neural pathways,
Right.
Music that you haven't listened to. So, I mean, I've listened to all the rock music you can listen to here, right? But I always recommend just try a different genre of music that you would never typically listen to, and then go from there. And of course, there's going to be, there's going to be some of the bangers, I guess, what the young kids call them these days, right? That you'll be like, okay, I like this, I like that, and then that can get the blood flowing. When I came up with Pagan Valley, I needed a title for it, and the song "Valley of the Pagans" by the Gorillaz was playing on my Spotify, and I was like, I like this, but obviously I'm not going to keep the same title, but I'll switch it up. So I called it Pagan Valley, and then even in the storyline, there's a pinata, and that's from a song. I think it's called "Dirty Pinata." I forgot who it's by, but like, listen to music, look at the lyrics, what the name of the titles of these songs are, and you can go from there. So you can always look at different genres of content, and and get your ideas from that. So and even artwork, right? Like you can look at different types of art and go, okay, what's the story behind that, and get creative.
So now I remember the second question. So your characters, we see this a lot with a lot of creators, especially if they're writing more than one title. Do you feel that you'll ever write a story that'll have all of your characters from 357 Magnum Opus, Pimp Killer, and Pagan Valley? Will they all cross over? Will there be some threat that requires all of them to rise up together and kick much butt?
They can. They're all action-oriented stories where something's going wrong, and usually the stories take place in California or Las Vegas, so they can definitely intertwine for sure. I've been asked when people come over, they go, "Oh, is this the same universe?" I go, "No, but it can be." So maybe in the future, I could bring Pimp Killer into Magnum Opus, and we'll see. So it's definitely not off the table for sure. So.
All right, cool, no problem.
I noticed that. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, I was gonna say, I noticed you have the very strong women characters, and you don't go into like you don't have mutants and supers going on. Is that something that you're going to stick with, or do you have any interest in going into some of the more, I guess, fantastic forms of stuff? I like how you have the solid, grounded, just real people
Real
characters.
World.
Yeah.
If the inspiration comes to me, for sure, I would love to write a comic that has cool superheroes doing some fun stuff, and it just hasn't come to me yet. So, even like writing those spy thrillers, that story hasn't come to me. So it's really something where if I can grasp it at the moment, then I'll write it. But maybe in the future, if I can come up with like really cool superhero who does some cool stuff. I think like it seems like everything is taken. But maybe I know there's like maybe like an Afghan character, right? Maybe an Afghan superhero. Maybe that hasn't been done, and maybe I can create that. Who knows? So, or maybe someone watches your podcast and goes, "Hey, I can create that," and so you just never know. Maybe.
Okay.
So we talked. Another question I have is we talked about cosplay and such. And I have to ask because all of us in some form do. Have you cosplayed in any way? And if you haven't, if you did, what would you dress as?
Oh wow! I have not cosplayed before. I've been to before I had my books. I did go to a few conventions. I just as boring me with pants and a shirt and jacket. If I were to cosplay, oh gosh, I don't know. There's so many cool ones. I don't know. Wonder Woman's pretty cool. I think Wonder Woman would be fun to do. Yeah.
I don't know with that.
Yeah, I don't see enough Wonder Woman. I'd like to see more Wonder Woman. So maybe.
Go to New York Comic Con. You'll see a lot of Wonder Woman.
Do you nerd out at cons? Is there anything that you're like geeky about at the cons? Do you collect anything?
I don't collect anything. However, it's always cool to see the same vendors. Like I always see the fudge people. Like I know I can always get if I want fudge. I know there's fudge at every
Oh
time.
yeah.
So it's always nice to be able to grab a churro because I don't get to have churros on a daily. But when I'm at the cons, I'll be eating that. I love just seeing the different artwork, right? So it'll be an artist who I saw a year before, and then they come out with something new. But interesting the creativity out there. But there's nothing that I necessarily collect at the moment.
No.
So if we see you at a con, we bring you a churro. This is what we
Bring
do.
me a
No.
churro
We bring her a churro
fudge.
or fudge. This is how we
fudge,
end
yes.
up in the background of one of the books. But it
Yes.
has to be
There you go.
good fudge, or else we get killed. I've seen
There
this
you go.
before. Seen
I've
this.
been killed for worse.
It's got to be some quality fudge. We're talking mouth-wateringly good. So, and I also have seen fudge guys at cons, so I agree with you. It's so good.
So what's it like trying to shop around a screenplay versus doing a comic book? Is there much difference when you're going to, like, say, I don't know, Netflix or whatever, and being like, hey, this would make a really great show or movie or blah blah blah? How is that different?
Sure. So I haven't actually pitched this at Netflix or any studios,
No?
but I have had some folks come to the table from different places, and they'll be like, "This looks like a movie," and
Yeah.
they'll purchase the book, and
I could
just stay in
even
touch
see
and
an
whatnot.
anime being made off of Pagan Valley. It has that the art already has that feel like anime style.
Yeah, I think it would do really
kinda
well,
cool.
actually. Yeah, I think it would do really well. I always kind of set up things where it could go into a sequel or a prequel just because of the backstories, and then I kind of leave it a little bit open. But yeah, I think it'd be awesome if one of them was, or all of them were anime. I haven't pitched it to movie studios. I mean, even though like they're Pagan Valley and both Magnum Opus were written in that style, I do love having them as comics at the moment, and going to shows and meeting people and having them read it just because of the accessibility. And the medium just works really well with the dialogue, the style I write, and just the action scenes. So if you had told me, 10, 20 years ago, you're going to write comics, I'd be like, what are you talking about? But it's been really fun, and I actually look forward to, creating more books. So, and I would love to encourage others to also try it. You don't necessarily have to write, the great American novel, but hey, you can write comics, and people will enjoy them and read them and such. And it's a collaborative process working with different artists and different letterists and such to get it done. And once you have it in your hand, it's a feel good experience for sure.
Carrie, do you have anything? I feel like me and Jar have just been ping ponging this thing. So
I'm playing Leo, so I don't ask questions today.
yeah, I was about to say, are you ready
that's
to
not
ask
fair.
your 3-part question near the end?
No.
And don't forget to ask about Blue Sky.
Yeah, you're on Blue Sky.
I'm not.
No.
There you go.
No, I just forgot what I was going to ask her actually, because
Damn it.
you cut me off. So I'll cut you
Well,
off
you
as
were
soon as
just saying how you have the letterer and the colorist, and how did you all come together? Like, I imagine now it's a lot of social media work and stuff like that, like Facebook and whatever. But how do you? Well, since you already had the screenplay written, I'm assuming for Magnum Opus, how did you settle on Ming Chen? Like,
Yeah.
did
So Ming
was
Chen
there
was
like a
referred to
big
me.
was there a big pool of people, or was it like
There wasn't. So when I was trying to get Magnum done, it was like a 4 or 5 year process because every artist I would hire would go, "Oh, this is too big." They'd get 40 pages in, and they'd be like, "I can't do it anymore." And so I had all these incomplete books, and I'm like,
oh
"Okay,
my
but I
god?
paid you." So, but they would, or they would be like, "Oh, I have a job that's going to pay me more." And so I stress to folks, you got to be really precise with your contracts and when you're
Mm,
working with folks. And Ming Chen I was complaining to one of my colleagues. I'm like, I don't know how to get this done. I'm like, every artist, like 4 artists now have just dropped out because it's just too overwhelming for them. And I'm not the type that rushes. I'm gonna take your time. And that was another problem. You should definitely set deadlines, have contracts, and have all those things in place, NDAs, you name it. And he was referred to me, and it was Ming Chen's first comic as well. He actually draws more for video games, and I was just fortunate to meet him at the right time. And working with him, he did it from beginning to end. He was a letterist. He also did the inks. He did all the artwork, the pencils and whatnot. He actually did it his digitally, and then with Pimp Killer, Ion was referred to me. So it's everybody refers everybody, right? So you meet
yeah.
folks and they go, "Oh, I know this person," and then you work with them. Sometimes it's a good referral. Sometimes it is a bad referral. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. And I've learned, make sure you just hire different folks for different pieces. So if someone says I could do it all, it's just going to take longer. So have them focus on just either being your inker or the pencil and see what they're better at, and then hire somebody else to do your colors. So that way you can even have multiple projects going on versus just
Mm.
having that one person inundated with one whole big project. It could be overwhelming, right? Because you go, "Oh my God, this is never going to end. This is going to be my life." And sometimes it will, because it just depends on how long it takes. Pagan Valley was multiple folks, whereas the other ones weren't as many people, so it took a bit longer. So it's you just learn as you go along, and then if somebody did a great job, you continue to work with them and you refer them, and it just works like that. And you hope that they'll be available for the next book. So
Did you get to meet everybody face to face, or has it
no.
been all through computer screens?
Well, me and China did meet because we both live in the Bay Area, and then Ion lives in Europe, and then other folks, it's usually digital, online. Then that's how you're interacting. So
That's cool though, like, because normally in the world, like, if it wasn't for all that the technology, be stuck there still trying to find somebody.
absolutely, that's why I feel like it's become easier to be a creator. 10 years ago, I was having so much trouble just trying to get this done. Now I feel like, okay, I don't have to worry. I have access to thousands of folks who do all this, and I know people, and I can hire somebody internationally versus always having to hire locally. So
Mm.
yeah, it's definitely been a game changer for sure, as the internet gets like, I know people complain about social media, but it also brings people together because you're following each other and you're
Mhm.
seeing what work people are putting out there, and you can create little communities and stay in touch.
So you said that you're since you're part of the medium now, you're kind of getting into reading a bit more comics. What are you reading these days? Like, what are your favorites?
My favorites. I have a couple right here that have been on my list for a while. I have the Yasmin that I've been trying to read. I'm like 3/4 way done, and then I have Cocaine Coast as well. I like ones that have a little bit of like history and truth to them, and
Mhm.
that's why I like graphic memoirs. I do want to read more graphic memoirs as well. What else? of course, there's a few that, I'll be reading, and if it's not clicking for me, then I'll kind of stop. A lot of it is for research purposes, just to see what folks are doing out there. And I would love to see more women creatives. When I go to these shows, it's a lot of good books, you know, with male writers and male artists, but I don't see enough women joining, and I would love for them to be able to tell their stories and be able to connect with the right folks to get their books done. So I think that would be a good encouragement.
Okay.
I did remember the question I was going to ask you.
Go for it, Carrie.
You said you started writing off stories and stuff about your friends when you were younger, and then you move up and you write in the two hardest formats possible: screenplays and comic book scripts. And you are a glutton for punishment for doing this? Because I have tried. I write stories, but I have tried writing screenplays and it drives me crazy. And then I've seen so many different script versions. People do everything themselves. Do you find it's easier since you are already writing them initially as a screenplay? So you have the beats, and like pan to this, look at this, we focus on these things, to then turn that into the script? Or was it easier with Pimp Killer when you just went straight into the comic book script instead of having the screenplay to set it up, like as far as panel wise and stuff? How detailed do you get in from those? And I don't know if I'm making sense or
No,
actually asking you a question, but
no, it makes absolute sense. Like with Magnum Opus, worked with an editor to get that from script to comics, and then doing Pimp Killer, it was fun because I got to do it, right. I got to decide how many panels per page, which dialogue falls into it, and then having the artist create it and go, okay, that didn't work. Like what you envision in your head sometimes, and then with the third one, Kaden drove the thumbnails. I always recommend doing thumbnails, right? Write it out, thumbnail it, see how it actually looks based off what you envision in your head. If it's not working, then you go back and you change it before you go to the artist and go, okay, here, start. With Pimp Killer, Ion did the thumbnails, and that's how we were able to determine if it's working or if it's not working before he went and did further more details. So I don't know if one's easier than the other. You and I probably have reverse issues. I find it harder to write stories and a lot of narrative, and that's why, like, I always say I'm going to write my memoir, but I'm like, can I write like thousands of words? But so dialogue, I feel like is easier, and you just visually describe what's happening in the scene, and then you can go to dialogue where they're kind of communicating what's going on. Whereas I feel like when you're writing narrative and prose and all that, it has to be very pretty, right? So it's a different challenge. So I don't think writing is supposed to be easy. I think there's just different ways around it. So yeah, hopefully that answered the question.
Oh no,
I'm always impressed with any storytellers, like being able to keep. I have the worst memory, so being able to keep like a story straight. To me, like you have to have this whole room full of like strings connected to each thing, and like this is how we got from here to here to here to here. So that way, like I don't go back and screw the whole story up by going way out of pocket. How do you keep all that straight? Do you keep like a database or whatever for your stories?
Well, I use like Google Sheets, and I have different stories on each tab of things I'm working through. I always like to outline my scripts and make sure everything falls into the different beats and create, character bios. Usually my issue will be, is it logical? Like, does that make sense? Some things I'll be like, well, why would they do that? Can't they just do this? It kind of reminds me of like Austin Powers, where Dr. Evil's son was like, well, let's just go in the back and shoot him. Like, it's over with. You just don't get it. You have to have the lasers on the sharks. Like, you could just go. You could have killed Austin Powers, really. It's like, you can do all that and it would be done. And so it's like, okay, you can't think like that. It's entertainment. You have to drag it on for another couple hours. So that's my challenge more so, going, okay, well, why don't they just do this? So, and but yeah, it's always just outlining and having fun with it. At the end of the day, that's all you can do. Is if you're not having fun with it, then maybe it's not the right story, and you can go back to it later. So
okay, all right. So Nobody give this woman sharks with freaking laser beams on their eyes. That's what I'm hearing. Right, Jared? Are you hearing the same thing? I feel like, right?
I actually like a story with laser beam sharks.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Little fantastical there. So, but Carrie, you were saying something?
Oh, I was just excited. Do you have anything? We were talking about the cons and stuff, and you did say that you were writing something, and you sneakily went around and didn't tell us what you were
Oh
writing
yeah, you
about.
didn't tell us what you were
But
writing.
which I'm not sure if you did that on purpose or not. But so you're just kind of like,
That was a good way to
sure.
go back to that, Carrie.
Yeah, nicely done, Carrie. It's crafty.
You know,
If you don't want to,
funny
if
you
it's
say
a
that.
surprise.
Yeah, I'll share. Yeah, so it's funny because I always felt like comedy is so hard to write. So, and I swear, when after I wrote comedy like 15 years ago, I said I'll never do this again. And I just wrote a comedy, and I'm like, why did I do this? It's so hard because what may be funny to you may not be funny to somebody else, and there's a lot of timing to it, tone, and all that.
Mhm.
So I just finished a romantic comedy script. It's about 90 pages. I'm debating if I should just make it into a comic as well. I think it would work great. I think folks would really enjoy reading it. It's I don't want to reveal too many details.
Do it.
That's one, and it's a comedy that takes place in college with a bunch of sorority girls. So
Do it.
That's all. And it's not like a House Bunny or what you've seen out there, but that's what I have. And then right now I'm actually working on a horror story, and I've not written horror. I haven't watched too much horror, but I have in the last month or two been watching a lot of horror just to kind of understand what works and what doesn't work.
Ooh.
And so I'm working on that right now, and I'm going into it. I'm like, well, why don't they just do this and it's over? And I'm like,
no,
Sensible horror.
don't.
The
No.
movie's 2 minutes long.
That's why it's the same thing at the end. Just leave you leave it open. Be like, he's dead, but is he? The killer, like,
right.
We beat him. Did we though?
Right. So,
all right.
yeah. So yeah,
Cool.
So the horror script should be fun. Hopefully that'll be done in a few months, and then maybe I could shoot it off to you guys, and you guys can read it since you guys seem to be a fan of the genre.
Listen,
yeah.
The lady above me, big horror fan there. Me, I'm just the sarcastic friend who's going to die in the third reel of the movie, and Jar is the person who will probably
get killed first.
No. Actually, you know what? Yeah, Jar. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm the stoner. I'm like.
Yeah, you're
first to go.
15 minutes in, man. You just.
Yeah, I'm good comic relief for the first, as you said, 15 minutes, and then all of a sudden, oh.
Yeah, you're the beheading. Me, I'm the guts. Carrie would make it because she knows the stuff. But
Carrie's the killer.
No, you know what? That's actually not. I don't know, but listen. Every story's gonna have a final girl, and it would make sense. The final girl was the killer. Boom, done. Well, listen.
Although it would be kind of strange watching her chase after herself.
Well, yeah, it's bad news. Well, everything that you said sounds awesome, and we would definitely please do keep us in touch. Of any future project, we'd be more than glad to have you back on and discuss it.
Especially if you're doing crowdfunders or anything like that.
Yeah,
we're more than happy to help push them.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
We have people who will listen to us, and we'll just be like, here, this is worthwhile. Give it money. Help them do things.
Beautiful.
And Carrie is an ultimate fan, so if you have a good Kickstarter, she'll support. She gets packaged. She forgets. She supports so many, and she's like, "Oh, right, my Kickstarter just came in from such and so forth." I was like, "How do you have the room?" She said, "I have boxes."
Where you just started writing comics, Carrie just began reading comics, and she's already taken in most of the comic world, so she needs new worlds to devour. So keep writing.
Yeah. I'm not a new comic reader. I'm a back to comic reader.
Oh well, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she was comic adjacent, and then she cannonballed. So now, so it's you guys are kind of on that similar thing. You're like, I'm in the shallow end of comics, but I'm ready to dive. Let's see what's down there. Okay. Well, but so we're coming up at an hour. I just want to say thank you so much, Ghezal, for coming on. It's been great. Yeah, thank you so much. Like, it's been great, and honestly, we just, I mean, I don't know if I could speak for these two above me, but seriously, just continued success on all your work. Just keep doing your thing, and before you know it, we'll see you on Amazon Prime or Netflix or whatever program is going to sprout up in the next 5 or so years, and we're like, we had her on the show. We know that person. That
I'm waiting for that moment, Drew. I'm waiting to have that moment.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool. We could be like, we are on the show. We made her smile with our shenanigans.
Yeah.
Hopefully by then our network is even bigger, so we'll have,
Yeah, it'll be
20
me going, oh
followers.
my God, look at those guys. I was on their show, and now they're crazy everywhere, and I see them all the time, and it's like,
Oh, we'll remember you. We'll listen. We'll bring you the churro.
thank you.
Well, listen, we'll
The
bring you the
churro.
fudge or the churro. We'll be like, we remember you. You always
says
feed
he
the
knows.
Pimp Killer.
He knows a place that has good fudge, so we'll bring that.
There you go. So what we're going to say is, as we're wrapping up, if you want to just, what's the best place or way that people could interact with you, social media and stuff? Just
Yeah. I mean, you can visit my website, artillerynetwork.com. I'm on Instagram at Ghezal Supernova or 357 Magnum Opus. Either of those are fine, and ping me. I'll chat with you.
okay.
Yeah, if you have any questions for any creators. So, yeah.
Okay, Jeremy had one final question. Go.
Where did the name for the website come from, Artillery Network?
It was a mistake. I had read Fight Club many, many years ago, and I was like, yeah, I think one of the things was called Artillery Network, and then I created Artillery Network, and then I looked it up, and I can't find it anywhere. I'm like, maybe I just imagined it, so or maybe I just combined different words from different pages, but that's initially where it was supposed to come from. So.
Well, it works. I like it.
We won't tell anyone, but so yeah, thank you again. Like Carrie said, when you leave, you have the option to stay on the uploads page. Just let that get to 100%, and then you can close. Am I right, Carrie? Is that correct?
Yep, that's all you have to do.
Cool.
And if there's any problems, I'll just have Drew get a hold of you later. But
okay,
thank you so much for coming on.
Thank
and
you.
You guys
thanks
can
for
find
putting up with
links,
us.
show notes up and down, somewhere, wherever the show links are.
Above, down below.
Somewhere on the screen. But thank you, and feel better.
Thank you. Actually, this was great. Thank you. I had a really fun time, and I look forward to doing it again.
Oh, thank you.
Hopefully you didn't have the sniffles once. We were kind of like the wasabi clearing you out. Like, you seem like, go for a jog now. And she's like, no, I'm done. I'm going to sleep now. All right. Well, thank you again. You have a good rest of the night.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
All right, Drew. Good job, sir.
I listen, when one of us gets a guest, all of us benefit. All the light touches is the kingdom. What about that? No, we don't talk about that. That's the 90s. That's the shoulder pads. It's all the leftover shoulder pads from the 90s. We don't talk about that. Okay, guys. We did it.
Now
I mean, it wasn't
hard.
Like, I like how you're like, we did it. I was like, yes.
Now we can go home.
No, we can't. We have the news.
We have
the news. All right.
Stuff.
But first,
things.
Yes. So
stuff and things.
Yeah, stuff and things. So, well, take out your nerd hats, everybody, because it's time to look upon the yonder. Because then, for some variants in Variant Watch.
Hold on a second.
New laptop.
Variant Watch.
Laptop. Yeah.
Carrie got a new laptop. Carrie got a new laptop.
Jar, calm down.
New laptop.
I just maybe when we re-edit it, they could be like, and Carrie, you're making me look like a fool in front of our 4 followers.
Okay, stop. I'm trying to.
We're actually almost up to 400 now.
400 followers.
400.
Okay, I am doing my dangdest to.
You're doing great.
You're doing so good.
We're gonna get
I
I
there.
think that's the most I've seen her blush. She was just like, "It's a new computer, and I'm getting used to it, and I spent all afternoon." And I'm like, "Carrie, it's fine. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's
I
okay."
had it all over the. I just can't get it to share the screen. There we go. Okay. So.
Watch.
Almost.
It's not even my watch. First
Worth the
try.
wait. Worth the wait.
Okay. So, welcome to
Whoa.
Very Launch, everybody. Yeah, this is going to be an awesome one. First off, we're going to talk about this is 60 years celebration of mutant kind in Marvel Comics. With 700 issues of Uncanny X-Men, there is an extra-sized connecting cover. This is Scott Koblish's work, and they announced.
Hey, we know Scott Koblish.
Yes, it's going to be launching in X-Men number 35 in June, which will be the 700th issue of the book hitting the stands in standard commemorative cover. Yeah, there's some other ones. But anyway, this is the first. There's going to be 8 covers total. I did not break it down into the individual covers because there is actually really no way to do so on here. But we're going to go through and look at I just broke it up. The covers that we will be getting will be the New Mutants, X Factor, X Force, and yeah, I took this and broke it into little sections so you guys can see it a little bit better. And the amount of characters that he did here are just insane.
Is this to rival his Deadpool cover?
There's Deadpool, his Fantastic Four. Yes.
Yeah.
Look at that.
The man is a beast.
Seriously.
Yes.
I don't even know if I know this many characters. This would be a fun one to see how many you can name and like.
Kind of like a Where's Waldo, but Where's X Gene?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has.
Is there more, Carrie?
What? No,
Is there more, or was
all
that
of
it?
That was it. I went through, but it has all of the A-list, some obscure mutants, super villains, allies, superhero guest stars, and more. And
Jeez.
it's yeah. So get ready because this is you can. I'm assuming you can probably pre-order it already. The cover for X-Men, the second part of the cover is going to be X-Men number 1, and that's on sale on July 10th. But like I said, the first one is coming out on June 5th. And then there will be more being released as we go along.
Of course.
So, yes.
Oh my gosh.
So now we move on to Jim Lee. Okay, so back in February, and we've already talked about this, DC Comics announced that they were releasing the Marvel DC versus Marvel Omnibus and the DC Marvel Amalgam Age Omnibuses, both this August. So these are the covers that we're getting now from Jim Lee. He's finally got them complete and has posted them up here. So here you go. This opens differently. So I think these are both really, really beautiful comics.
I'm not.
I like the what?
I'm still looking at the.
Yeah, I'm still seeing X-Men, Carrie.
Yeah.
Still?
Still.
Okay, because
It's very nice X-Men.
I mean, don't get me wrong, beautiful X-Men, standard, you know.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Carrie Sanders has a new laptop.
Yes, she does.
It's introducing itself tonight.
And what is? Okay. This is just getting silly. Do you see it now?
Nope. Still X-Men.
Okay.
We're
We're gonna
okay.
close this off real quick and try to share it again.
Well, there we are.
Okay. We'll try it again.
Oh,
Drew's gone to a parallel universe.
yeah, it's called laying down.
I'm sorry, guys. I
Oh, don't
I
worry
really
about it.
spent hours getting this ready today, and now it's okay. Hold on.
Breathe.
Use
One,
the
two,
fourth,
three.
Gary.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1,
Go
2.
there. Click that. Slideshow. Dun, 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 dun. And now
Jim Lee's covers
present.
for.
No, I mean, Jar, listen, when you see them, they're gorgeous.
They really are.
But then again, it's Jim Lee. So.
Okay. Are you now seeing Jim Lee?
Yes, look at that.
Wow.
Okay. Cool.
I had to zoom in, Carrie, just to look at them. Like,
Yeah,
look at that
they-
attention to detail.
You got Daredevil over on the side, Castle.
I mean, I feel like you're just seeing versions of characters that you don't typically see Jim Lee draw.
Yeah.
Very true.
And here's that amalgam.
Oh my god, it's so
Oh.
pretty.
Super Soldier.
Oh my god. That is just
Yeah.
gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, so sorry
Just
about the
when
wait,
you
folks.
didn't think you needed it.
It was worth it. Yeah, they were the inks were done by Scott Williams, and the hues were done by Alex Sinclair.
Yeah, they're Jim's longtime collaborators. Like anytime you've seen his work, especially for DC, it's both of them. And just man. Just
Yeah.
beautiful stuff. I mean, just look at how they make everything pop.
The Storm's outfit is just so shiny and perfect with the way that things. And this is the point where we drool, everyone. Yay, drool!
Listen, don't get me wrong. Hers is fantastic, but I mean, I'm sorry, it's Dark Claw, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just God, that's gorgeous. So
It
good.
is. Okay.
And the original Spider Boy.
You're right. All right. So that's
Moving
coming out sometime this year, Carrie?
Yeah, that's going to be coming out in August.
That looks like it hurts.
This
So,
is a beautiful cover. I'm sorry. I would consider getting this.
Yes, this is Gabrielle Delgado's variant cover on the Wolverine World War III, or Deadpool Wolverine World War III, which is going to be a 3-issue epic that's going to be coming out.
Mhm.
And this is going to hit stands next week. So,
Wow.
well, actually, it's going to hit stands tomorrow. So,
Jeez.
go to your
This week.
stores. Get your hands. Yeah, this week. It's going to be great.
Okay. Cool.
All right. And then last, we're coming into the new From the Ashes, A New Beginning with the Uncanny X-Men. And this is going to be launching in August. It's going to be bringing Rogue into being kind of forced to take part as a leader in the new X-Men. And we're getting covers for this. This one is from David Marquez. Oh, and also this will be coming on August 7th. I have to
Right.
count in my head to do the months. I didn't write it down. But this is the first cover from David Marquez. Here we have some, take a guess, Lionel Francis. You?
Beautiful.
Yep. This is the Luciano Vecchio cover, which
Nice.
she just looks so pretty, and I love the background one. And this one is the Hidden Gem Andy Kubert cover. So,
Wow, that's gorgeous.
yeah. So that's what we have going on here in Variant Watch. And yeah, go ahead
That's
and
it for Variant
get
Watch.
yours instant. That's it for Variant Watch.
Oh, we're gonna get this
Okay.
in early tonight.
All right, Carrie, set it up.
Okay.
Set up what, Drew?
Let me get
What are you talking about, Drew?
I'm talking about the news.
What news? Whose news?
My news.
Drew's News. Exciting tales, fresh comic views, in the pages, heroes fly, villains plot, under the sky. From Gotham's dark to Metropolis views, we cover stories old and new. Drew's News. Your daily source for comic clues. Join the fun as heroic crew in the world of Drew's Comics News.
Excelsior!
Oh God, put me under already.
That doesn't get you all like reamped and woo.
Just gets me more tired, Jar. All right, so this is me. So
This is you.
this is me. This is one of my stories. Marvel just announced that they are bringing back a surprising Scarlet Witch variant. As we know, Wanda is it's kind of hot right now. She's been part of her own series by Steve Orlando. She had a separate series also by Steve with her brother Pietro, aka Quicksilver, and now she's back to her own book, and that's going to bring to life a surprisingly new iteration of the character. So on this character, which is called Lore, which is an evil variant of Wanda, which apparently debuted in the 1994 Scarlet Witch series. So she, drawn by Mighty Thor artist Russell Dauterman, her new costume pretty much more resembles Elizabeth Olsen's outfit from the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This will be seen in Scarlet Witch issue 3, written by Steve Orlando with art by Dauterman and Jacobo Kimagni. So essentially, the synopsis is she's carved out a haven for herself in upstate New York, but apparently it's all about to go to shit. This causes attention from a wrath of a primal force, unlike anything she's ever faced, and it won't stop till it destroys everything. So her and her allies are going to fight. What's going to happen? Well, you'll have to see on June 12th. Scarlet Witch issue 1, everybody. I don't know. This looks pretty cool. And again, Russell Dauterman's work very rarely disappoints. So, yeah, this looks pretty solid.
The art looks pretty cool.
I mean,
yeah.
Terry, what do you think? Seems like it's right up your alley.
Oh, it's it's reading on the sides over here. An aspect of her powers, Lore can create shadow demons that extend from her, dripping from the black parts of her costumes. The demons are all black silhouettes with glowing red eyes and teeth, various shapes and sizes. This is just beautiful. And so she's going to have it. It kind of reminds me of the Shadows outfit, how he can cast the living shadows.
Right.
The shade.
Right.
But yeah, I think this is just going to be great. I'm going to have to get in on this one.
All right, cool. All right. So yeah, like I said, everybody, July 12th, I believe. So yeah, check it out. All right, that's me. No, June 12th. June 12th. My bad.
June 12th.
All right, Jar, this is you.
Hey, it's those guys, Franco and
George Clooney.
George Clooney. That's right. In July of last year, Mad Cave Studios revealed its plan to launch a new series centered around the Flash Gordon franchise as part of its agreement with King Features Syndicate. Alongside this announcement came news of a special publishing line aimed at younger readers through Mad Cave Studios' middle grade imprint paper cuts. Today, the publisher shared more details about the Flash Gordon Adventures, an exciting graphic novel suitable for all ages, crafted by the beloved duo of Art Baltazar and Franco. I'm going to screw up his last name, Aureliani.
Nicely done.
Thank you. Flash Gordon Adventures follows the escapades of Flash Gordon, Dale Arden, Dr. Zarkov, and their allies from the planet Lexray as they confront the villainous Ming the Merciless, created by the award-winning team of Art and Franco, known for their work on titles like Tiny Titans, Itty Bitty, Hellboy, etc., etc. This series promises thrilling adventures intertwined with valuable life lessons. Readers can expect a blend of excitement and humor as they join the characters on their wild journeys. Topics covered include the quirks of alien world gravity on digestion, the significance of a lizard machine in creating new lizards, and Dr. Zarkov's quest to fashion fake beards for Ming, all presented in a fun and engaging manner. It will be released on November 26th.
This is going to be so much fun.
It is. I'm not totally hip to the Flash Gordon universe.
Same.
So, like, I wonder if there will be that as many inside jokes that might just fall flat for us that we don't get.
No, I think that it's definitely going to be something because Art and Franco, they just have this a way to just make you kind of. They have a way to show homage to the older readers, but also for the newer ones, and it's just fun and silly, you know.
Definitely is. I wonder where they'll go next in the itty bitty world.
Who knows, my man? Who knows?
Maybe they'll do some itty bitty boom studios.
Itty bitty Hellraiser.
Oh God! Don't tell Carrie that. Don't tell Carrie that.
Gonna have to mention that to Franco when we see him.
No, I think that's the kind of thing that I would love if you got Dan Chichester's thoughts on that.
All right.
I feel like he'd have a good laugh at that.
Get the three of them in a room together and just be like, go, do it. Create my world.
We have such adorableness to show you. All right. So what's next, Carrie?
All right. So what we have going on here is Hello Darkness, which is going to be a new anthology.
I'm sorry, Carrie. It's still on Flash Gordon.
Oh, come on.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Come on, my joke fell flat. Damn.
Jar. It's just the Songs of Silence.
Yeah.
Has it gotten further yet?
No, still Flash Gordon. Although it's great artwork by the wonderful Franco. Aureliani. I wish.
Oh, there you go. You're good, Carrie.
Okay, now I figured out how to fix it. Well, that's lovely.
Potpourri.
Okay, so Hello Darkness is being released on July 24th this year. It's going to be an anthology series. They have no set cutoff for it, so that we can get all of our favorite Boom Studio horror writers in to give us what they got the best. We're going to start off with, in the first 6 issues, James Tynion is writing a special Something is Killing the Children story that's written as a serial. And we also are going to have a tale by Garth Ennis and Becky Cloonan in the first 7.
Wow. That's quite the butterfly.
Yeah.
The metamorphosis.
There are going to be stunning main covers by Paulo Rivera, variant covers by Jenny Frisson, and a rotating guest artist variant cover on every single issue. So you can just imagine. I mean, I sit down and I just read Boom Studios nonstop, but being able to have all of these different artists together so that you can see the ones that you might not get to see. I'm not going to pull it up because there are like 15, 20 people from Boom Studios who are all just like, I am so excited to get a chance to work with this person, and they all just are loving on each other. And I'm just super excited about this. I hope that I hope that it all works out the way we want, and I am going to be having this added to my list. I'm going to be getting more comic books than I don't have any more room. So, Drew, I'm going to have them sent to you, and you can hold on to them for me.
It's already time
I
to
don't
go
know
digital.
how I feel about this. Like, I'm not a storage space, okay? I wanted to be like, what do I get out of this? You get friendship. I was like, friendship's overrated.
Okay,
It's fine.
but
No, but seriously, Carrie, looking at this list of creators for that's an impressive lineup. Like,
yeah,
Tiny onion.
if we go through here, the people that are talking about, I'm just going to read off the names. I'm not going to say what all they wanted to do, but there's R.L. Stein, Francesco Francavilla, Garth Ennis, James Tynan, Werther de la Dera, Ryan Sook, Vanessa R. Del Rey, Sarah Gailey, Lana Kangas, Marguerite Bennett, Martin Morazzo, Michael Conrad, Steve Orlando, Genevieve Valentine, Jude Ellison S. Doyle, Letizia Catanici, and Andy Lanning are some of the people that are set up to be writing in this coming up. So
Good
seriously,
Lord.
guys, yeah, you know I'm all about,
There's no more room in the sandbox. Get out.
but looking at just some of these are gorgeous covers. And yeah, so first edition is where we have the Garth Ennis, Becky Coonan, James Tynan, where the Brian Azzarello, and Vanessa Del Rey. Dude, they're nailing it.
I'm sorry. All the covers are great, but I think my favorite is either this terrifying concoction or the first one, which I think is the Paolo Rivera cover.
The hands?
No, that
Oh.
is just stunning.
Yeah,
So.
I'm pretty sure that is. So we are on to the last piece of news
There's more?
tonight.
Oh yeah, this is the last one. So
War.
So, for fans of Firefly, we all know the story of what happened during the Great Conflict, where the Browncoats lost to the Galactic Empire and said such. Not Galactic Empire, the Federation, or something like that. But Boom Studios has announced, in the spirit of that, is that there was going to be a brand new one-shot special set in the universe of Firefly called Versus One by writer Ryan Parrott and artist Lalit Kumar, which essentially explores an alternative timeline, which is based on one question: what if the Browncoats won? So this is a bold new vision for all the familiar crew of Serenity, and then essentially how, despite this new timeline, all their fates continue to intertwine in strange and new ways. And also the word was the Alliance. So my apologies, Firefly fans. It's been a minute, but no power in the verse can stop me. So Ryan Parrott, who is known for his work on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Lalit Kumar Sharma, who did The Vigil, will be doing the artwork for it. And this just looks like a solid read, a great time. And it's just always nice when you have these what if stories kind of exploring what could have happened. But yet again, despite how much things have changed, some things remain the same. You know, Serenity will live on.
And these covers are great.
Yeah, this beautiful artwork. So that will be available in comic shops July 31st this year, everybody. So Firefly fans, check it out.
For the Alliance.
Do it.
So that's pretty much it.
And
Did everybody read?
I have no idea which comic that was about, but we saw a lot of good artworks. Yes.
All of them. Did everybody read Feral issue 2?
Absolutely. It was amazing.
Fantastic.
So good.
Everybody's up to date.
Indeed. So, but like I said, I'm good. Are you guys good? Because we could end the show.
Great.
Yes.
It's only 9:30.
I know.
Are you sure this is where we end it?
Yes.
We could
Yes.
start
Okay.
over.
No.
No.
I don't have the energy for a do-over, Jar.
No.
So
There
We'll
is no
we'll
over.
recall Ghezal Omar.
no.
Call her
No.
back. Be like, hey,
Let her rest, Jar.
the recordings didn't work. We're just gonna start it from the beginning. I feel like it's a little too early.
Shh.
All right. Carrie, you want to start off the sign off?
Yeah. So I am Carrie Sanders, and you can find me here on Splash Pages with these guys on the Dorkening, as well as on the Owlite Network, where I'm on most Sundays, half of the Mondays, some of the Thursdays, occasionally a Wednesday or two, and generally not on Fridays. But I do between 3 to 5 shows a week on average. So catch me with this name on Facebook, and all of my links are from there. If you see a crow, you know that is me. And that's all I've got to say. How about you, Jeremy?
How about me? How about me, damn
What
it?
you gonna say?
I'm gonna be on the Toking Dead or still Toking with I don't know what the name of the goddamn show is tomorrow night with Okari Johnson. He's a or AKA OK Cello. He's a cellist. So we're gonna be all high tea and stuff tomorrow for that at I believe it's at 7:00 on YouTube and Facebook and all that wonderful stuff. And then this weekend is Free Comic Book Day, so go check out your LCS and get some free comic books and buy some comic books too, because I hear that's how they make money. And then I ain't got much going on except for the grow season has begun, so I'll be outside all the time.
Working on his tan.
Working on this tan. I'm going to be Ginger Man. Ginger Man. Gingerbread? I don't know. But anyways, over to you, Drew, so we can end before 9:45. Oh, look at
I'm
he's
sorry.
so cute.
I'm sorry. I thought we were over already. Hi, everybody. I'm Drew.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to say you have a very nice shirt, Drew.
Thank you. It's always for the theme song, buddy. Goddamn shadows. Yeah. So when I'm not exhausted, I'm here every Tuesday. I might pop up on some of the other shows if someone's like, "Hey, come on." You know, I'll never say no to hanging with cool peeps. But if you need me, I'm on Facebook. I'm on, as you can see below, as always, Ghost Fisherman 1984 on Instagram, which I finally cracked my hiatus of, so I could start posting there. Who knows? I'm there. I'm here. I'm everywhere. I'm really tired, but I'm still glad to be here with these people. And thank you, everybody, for following us. We're already almost halfway through the year, and it's been awesome. And we still have a lot of great stuff planned, so stick around.
All right, everybody. And yeah, as Jar Jar pointed out, it is Free Comic Book Day this Saturday. Go check out your LCSs. They have tons of stuff. And there are going to be a couple of us trying to hit our own and get some little interviews and show off what our own comic book stores do. And we'll be sharing that with you from Splash Pages, because we are dedicated to getting you the best in all comics.
Yeah.
All right. So thanks for sticking around, everybody. And until next week, have a good night.
Have a good night.